Song was acting really crazy today. Hello, everybody. Welcome. We had some technical difficulties, but we're so glad that you have joined us for Healing Conversations tonight. So we're gonna give you a chance to come on in and just start a watch party. Let people know that Healing Conversation is back and we're on, and we are so glad. Um, to see you guys. So join us, come on in, let us know that you're there. Say hello, give us a little thumbs up. It is time for Healing Conversations. Healing Conversations. It has been a while since we have since you guys have seen us, so we want you to just come on in and join us for some great conversations. You know, we are back. We have missed you guys. We will be starting after this month. We'll be starting to do Healing Conversations every first and third Wednesday of the month instead of doing it every Wednesday. So if you're out there and you're watching, you know, say hello. Give us a thumbs up, give us a little heart, you know, share us, talk, give us a, if you're watching on YouTube, hello. If you're watching on the replay later on tomorrow or sometime during the week, you know, hello, we're glad that you have joined us. So join us, start a watch party, share with your family or friends. Today, we're going to have a really good conversation. All right, all right. So come on in and join us. Let us know that you're here. We got a comment up here. Hey, Jaden, we're so glad that you're here to see us. He said, "Good evening, Rev and Mrs. Brown." Um, he could really use some healing. Okay, that's what I'm talking about. All right, Jaden, that's what we're here for. We are here for that. And so what we're going to be talking about today is we are going to be talking about spring cleaning, really, because you know spring is like a few days away. So we're going to talk about spring cleaning, meaning your mind, body, spirit, as well as your home. You know, so we're gonna, you know, kind of lump it all in as much as we can during this time that we had with you guys today. So, you know, join us, you know, come on in. You know, we're gonna talk about this, you know, some spring cleaning, but definitely most of our conversation in the spring cleaning is going to be on, you know, your mind, your body, and your spirit, because we're changing seasons. We know a lot of you start you doing spring cleaning of your house, you know, getting all that winter dust out of there, you know, start purging clothes and purging different things that you may have been holding on to for years, you know, those types of things. So today we want to give you some tips, some help, some wisdom, some knowledge, some tools, and you know, kind of detoxing your mind, detoxing your spirit, and just helping you with um, doing some spring cleaning of from the inside out. All right. So I'm going to let Miss Brown start with the spring cleaning, especially of the body, because what me and my sister are going to be doing soon is start doing a spiritual liquid fast, in which for about 7 days within about a week or so. So we're starting to prepare, you know, to do that. Even though you know spring is upon us, we're going to start doing that in probably about a week or so. So forgive the noise in the background. So we're going to start doing that. So I know that Marla has given us some tips. So I'm going to let her start and go ahead on, Marla, and do your thing.
Okay. Hello, everyone. In terms of spring cleaning, so there's multiple levels of, you know, our existence. First level, of course, is the spiritual. And so for my personal spring cleaning, what I've been doing is I've been getting back on track with my meditation, because I've fallen off somehow out of that, just sitting in stillness and with self, connecting with all the chakras in my body, breathing fully, holding on to my crystals, working on manifesting. So I've been definitely working on that diligently daily. The first thing I do when I rise is I'll go on YouTube and find some type of meditation music that goes with what it is that I want to work on. So I'm working on like cleansing and attuning and being positive. So I'll choose that. And, you know, sometime meditation will go to 20 minutes. Sometimes I'm in meditation for an hour and a half. I guess it just depends on what spirit needs. So in terms of spirituality, and definitely praying, making sure, like Anaya and I usually pray at night, and sometimes little things will happen and we just fall off. So trying to get back into those spiritual practices, which are so important to being able to live a complete and peaceful and balanced life. The next is the mind. So, you know, really taking a look at certain habits that I have that are no longer serving me, and determining that I want to change them. Once I've made that determination that these are things that I want to change, I literally have a self-talk, because it's so funny how we as human beings, we talk to everyone else, but sometimes we don't have a conversation with ourselves. To say, okay, so these are the things that we're going to work on. And, you know, these are the non-negotiables. And then after that, you know, dealing with the things in terms of the mind concept, then I'm able to go on to the body. Because if spiritually I'm not in attunement and I'm not aligned and I'm not open and or listening to God or nature or the ancestors, then my body is not going to be in alignment to listen to whatever new habit that I decide I'm going to put into place this week. And so once I've taken care of the spiritual and I've had the conversation with self, then I'm able to do whatever type of cleaning of my eating habits that needs to take place. For me personally, I'm a carb lover. Like, I love rice, I love potatoes, I love flour, I love French fries. Okay, but it doesn't love me, right? And it hasn't loved me for a while. And so I was developing these different health issues, like this pain in my back that was just, no matter what, acupuncture, whatever I do, it would still always be there. And so this is my third week trying the ketosis food plan, and it really works for me. I feel like I have so much more energy. I'm not in pain. I'm much clearer, and I'm much more satisfied after my meals. And so it, you know, it feels really good to feel like there's some type of control over my eating, because when it comes to like rice, like it's never enough. Like, I eat a plate with sauce, meat, and then I'm getting up to put some more rice on my plate. And so I'm realizing that literally there was an issue with like my body not being able to get enough nourishment from the carbohydrates. So it's still asking for more and more and more. And now that I've switched over to just doing protein and vegetables mostly, it's a complete difference in how I eat. Like, my body is full. And so when I'm full, I can't reach for anymore because my body is satisfied. So now it's over. Now food isn't that party anymore. It's just literally food. And I'm just using it to fuel my body so that I can continue to exist and do God's work, basically. And spring cleaning in terms of space, like that's so important, especially in this society where we accumulate a lot. And in going through, you know, the pandemic and being home and sharing space with your family in a more intimate way than we've ever shared space before, it's so important that when a new season starts, that we're able to look and see what it is that we have and what it is that we don't need. And so the rule that I use is if I haven't used it or worn it in a year, I don't need it. And so, you know how you hold on to those dresses that you like, well, I don't fit this, but I'm going to fit it again. If it's been 4 years and you haven't wore it in 4 years, it's time to let it go, because things hold energy. And having a whole bunch of things with whole old energy in your space doesn't allow the shui to travel through your space. And the shui traveling through your space is so important. So you have to look around your room, look around your living room, look in the kitchen. Are there spaces in your home that's cluttered, just holding on to things that you don't really need, that they're just there, you know? And there's definitely a correlation between, you know, our spaces in our homes and our spaces in our heads, the spaces that we have in our bodies, you know, how it is that we allow energy to flow. Are we releasing and letting go of things? Are we releasing and letting go of experiences? Or are we hoarding onto the experiences and holding them close? And so, and when I say spring cleaning, I'm talking about like sweeping under the bed, going through the closet, going through each of your drawers and looking through, do I need this? Is this, if not, take the trash bag, get one of them outside lawn trash bags. If you don't need it, then just toss it. Because the fact is, literally, it's a sin to have all these things that you don't need consuming space for what?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I totally agree. I was looking around the other day, and I was like, you know, it is time to do some spring cleaning. And even last week when we talked, when we were going to do healing conversations last week, and I was just like, you know, we need to, you know, talk about, you know, spring cleaning, you know, as far as, you know, your mind, body, and spirit, but also your house, because, you know, I know that I have a lot of stuff, because I have a lot of different jobs. So, you know, saying I have little pieces of all those different jobs, you know, saying around me, you know, and things like that. But I do recognize that I got stuff in, like if you got a closet in your house and say this is a closet that you rarely use, if you haven't opened that closet in like the last 6 months to a year, that means whatever is in it, you probably don't need it. You know what I'm saying? Because you haven't used it. You know what I'm saying? If you haven't opened it in 2 years, you don't need it. You know what I'm saying? It's just sitting there. But, you know, when we think about this, you know, spring cleaning, and when we look at, just like when we were just, you know, Marlon had mentioned earlier about, you know, your mind, your body, your spirit, you know, saying, and thinking about the things that we have, that our minds and our bodies have consumed and accumulated just from experiencing a pandemic, you know, saying, just from experiencing COVID, you know, within the last year, you know what I'm saying? We're a year into COVID. You know, it was a year yesterday when I was at my job and they said, well, we're going to be closed until further notice, you know? And so now I'm still working remotely. So you think about all the things that have been out there, things that we have watched on the news, that we've heard on social media, that we've seen on YouTube, and those type of things. And those things started getting implanted in our spirits and in our minds and in, you know, in our hearts, especially when it comes to, you know, COVID, especially when it comes to this pandemic that we're in. And now we got, you know, we got the vaccine out here, you know, things like that. So it's like a lot of things that we are juggling in our minds and in our spirits and in our hearts. So, you know, but now is the time to release those things, you know, saying those things that are kind of, you know, keeping us like that we've been suppressing, you know, saying for months, you know, saying, because, you know, especially during this time when we have people who are dealing with a lot of, you know, depression, you know, during the winter, you know, months, sometimes the fall, those types of things. And so now things are going to start getting a little better. It's going to be a lot more sunshine, those types of things. And then we think about, the people that we may have lost, through in the last couple of months, due to COVID or not COVID, so when we think about those things, it is really time to cleanse your mind. It's time to cleanse your body. It's time to get your spirit realigned, with the Father. You know what I'm saying? It's time, to do those things so that you can fully embrace the new season that you're about to walk into, and I'm not just talking about the new season of spring, or the new season of summer that will come later, but just a new season of a new you, a new mind, a new body, and a new spirit. So, it's time to, let those things go and release. I know that I usually do, battle scars at the end of the year, sometimes before COVID, I would do them, throughout the year in different locations, things like that. But now is another time to really do that battle scars, to encourage you guys to, write things down that you want to let go of, that you need to release as the spring, settles in, get that dust off you, get that, those things off you that are constantly keeping you bound, those things that you constantly worry about, those things that constantly keep you stuck where you are, taking the time to renew your mind every day, starting with those affirmations that you would do, that you're reminding yourself that you're worthy, reminding yourself that you are loved, but reminding yourself that you are favored and that you are favored by God. We did a wonderful meditation last week, and one of the things that we said in that meditation is that we're favored, that you're favored by God. So that's just a reminder to you. So practicing those affirmations in the morning, if you're not doing them, start doing them now. Get your journal, start writing down your thoughts, start releasing things, and stop holding on to those things that continue to keep you in the same place mentally, say in the same place spiritually, because, we know that God wants to take you to another level, but he can't if you don't take the time to replenish. You don't take the time to rebuild and to restore. So now is the time to start to rebuild. It's time to start to clean out so that you can rebuild, renew, and, restore things that you may have thought that were in you that you may have lost.
And so for those of you who are thinking about a spiritual cleaning, we have a lot of access to a lot of really good information, and we have a lot of access to a lot of information that we really don't need. So I think everyone should look into what the chakras are and what they're responsible for. Because let's say, for example, like the root chakra. The root chakra is located at the base of the spine, and it creates the foundation for all the chakras. It's the starting point for developing and maintaining balance. In the womb, the spinal cord begins to develop at the bottom up, starting with the root chakra. It is responsible for our ability to survive, and if we believe in fight or flight. It's responsible for the energy that ties us to feeling safe, how we maintain our food, our shelter, and it expands to our emotional needs as well. And so this root chakra was basically developed while you were in the womb, before you had anything to do with yourself. So whatever it is your mom was experiencing and your dad were experiencing, their communication, their vibrations, your root chakra was being developed from then. So there are a lot of things that we're carrying around in our bodies and in our essence that may need to be healed, right? I've experienced before where a friend of mine, her mom passed away. And she didn't deal with her mom passing away in terms of like emotionally dealing with it, because our society is so set on, well, you get a few weeks to bereave, you know, but after you bereave, then it's time to get back to work type thing. And so when your mom passes away, that attachment is nothing that you just get over that quickly. And so because she didn't give herself the time to mourn, bronchitis came about, acute bronchitis. And it was this cough that just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse until her heart was affected. Then she had to get a pacemaker. Now, if we think about that in terms of your chakra, of course, your heart is going to be broken if you lose your mom, right? And so that space in your body, vibrationally, emotionally, spiritually, is now weakened. But in our society, we don't say to ourselves, you know what? This physical thing that's happening is happening because of a bigger level. It's happening because of a spiritual thing. It's happening because intense detachment has taken place. And so I have to deal with that. Once we acknowledge that these levels of healing need to take place, we're able to eradicate certain sicknesses and stop them from getting that serious, because our bodies tell us things. They give us signs. They come knocking all the time. When we eat certain foods, as soon as I eat certain foods, my sinuses change. As soon as the mucus starts to build up. In the morning, I'll wake up the next day and I have maybe 40% more mucus in my body than I did the day before I ate that thing. And so how many times are we going to not listen to what our bodies are saying? Because when the body shuts down, then what?
Exactly. You know what? So earlier today, when I talked to Marlon earlier today, and she's just like, why do you sound stopped up? And then I told her, I said, because I had ice cream over the weekend. So whenever I eat ice cream, that mucus starts to build up. My sinuses start bothering me. You know what I'm saying? My sinuses get clogged when I start taking in too much dairy, so she's just like, okay. So I had my ice cream fixed over the weekend. I'm not going to be eating any more ice cream for a little while, unless it's, like maybe sorbet or something or whatever, something that's non-dairy, but yeah, so, your body tells you a lot of things. You got to think about, when we're talking about the mind and, how you need to, spring clean, declutter your mind, because you think about all that your mind has to do. Our mind has to process, our mind processes the food that we eat. It processes our thoughts. It processes our emotions. It processes a lot of stuff 24/7. All of the time. So if it's processing all these things and all the things that we deal with, what we drink, saying what we eat, saying how we feel, those type of things, then we know that sometimes, we should be listening to our bodies and to our minds when it's saying stop. I can't think, I can't think straight. When I get to a place where I can't think straight, or my mind is just like, stop, since sometimes my mind is, at a point where it's just like, stop, I can't think anymore. I don't want you to look at nothing. I don't want you to look at no screens. I don't want you to think about anything, saying, I just want you to sit and be quiet. And sometimes I have to do that, because that's telling me that my mind has been doing too much work this particular day or over several days. So then you got to take some time to detox it, so that means maybe sitting and just meditating, and just releasing your, releasing, those thoughts, or letting those things out. So when I do my meditation in the morning, when I take my deep breaths in, saying I'm taking in, positive things, positive words. And when I am letting that breath go, I'm releasing like worry, I'm releasing doubt, and I say those actual things that I'm releasing, saying. So those things are key, and they're important when you're doing that, to detox your mind and to help you detox your spirit. Sometimes we need to take a technology break, from our phones and from social media. We're always looking on Facebook. We're always strolling YouTube. We're always strolling Twitter and Instagram and all those other TikTok and all those things. And sometimes we need a mental break from those things, So I know that, when I try to help people with meditation, and they say that you should start with, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, just to get yourself used to just the silence, and so that's good. Start with that. If you're not accustomed to silence or just meditating, start with that 5 minutes, then go to that 10 minutes, and practice that every day and often, because the key thing is your goal is to really meditate for at least 30 minutes at a minimum, because it takes your brain 13 minutes to stop wandering and thinking. So you're thinking like, okay, so if you're trying to meditate and you're trying to cleanse and be silent in those things, and you think, okay, you say, okay, I'm a meditate for 20 minutes. 13 of those 20 minutes are your brain trying to tell yourself, okay, it's quiet, relax, stop thinking about that other stuff, stop thinking about this or stop thinking about that, stop letting your mind wander, so that you can get to a place where you're in total solitude. So you can get to a place where you're just still and quiet. And when you get to that place mentally, when you're meditating, things that are going on around you, you don't hear it. You do not hear it. When I am in deep meditation, I don't hear a lot of things, especially when my mind has actually started focusing on being silent. So the big key with meditation and letting that be a release for you is, first, you got to give your mind time to settle down. You got to give your mind time to stop thinking, so that when your mind gets to that place where it's resting and not thinking, then that you will find a greater sense of calmness and peace that happens in that moment. Would you agree, Marlon?
Also, we have 7 chakras in the body. So if when you start off, you just say to yourself, I'm just going to give each chakra 2 to 3 minutes. That will bring you close to the point where you want to be. Just because we're in a society where our attention is always needed for something. We literally probably only have an attention span of a minute now, because most videos last about a minute. And so when you first go into meditation, your mind, your body is going to be like, what are you doing? And people are like, meditation is the absence of thought. Well, no, it's literally just bringing your mind back. Because thought is going to come and your mind is going to go. It's knowing that, but just bringing it back. So if you say to yourself, okay, when I leave work today, I'm going to the grocery store and I'm going to pick up such and such. You just bring it back to the color of the chakra that you're focused on. So the root chakra's color is red. After your mind goes for a walk in the grocery store, just bring it back to that color red. That's why people use crystals when they meditate. That's why you focus on the color of the chakra that you're meditating to. That's why you send breath and energy to that area, so that you could bring about that mindfulness and that healing to each of the area as you hold the crystals, as you send the breath, as you focus on the color, then the vibrations of the crystals are connecting with your body. Your breath is connecting with your body. It's connecting with those areas in the chakras, those energies in the chakras that are now able to help you heal those different parts of you on so many levels. And so I've had friends who have been battling with unhealthy eating habits for years. And as soon as they start meditation, then all of a sudden they just want salads and vegetables and to drink a lot of water. Because once we are able to connect deeply into that silence, because all babies are sitting in silence, right? They're not bored. Babies are the most competent, most fulfilled people ever. And they're just sitting in silence. So when we go into our meditation and we can go deep into that silence, that's where that true essence of healing happens. And so for all of you who know that we always have this in our hands and not too far, go on YouTube and just look up the different chakras in the body and look up what they're responsible for. Then look up the crystals that are associated with each of the chakras in the body and order some on Amazon. And just start your process on being in stillness. Give each chakra 2 to 3 minutes to start. And then what will happen is you will literally go from, oh my God, this seems like 10 hours I've been sitting here, even though you really just been meditating for 5 hours, to the energy pockets in your body. Your chakras are so in need of the stillness and the silence and the essence and the truth that now you're sitting in meditation for an hour, for an hour and a half. And it still doesn't even feel like it was 5 minutes, because it's literally giving ourselves that spiritual medicine that we need. Like, if we're ill, we take medicine, correct? So how do we fix our spirit? Through prayer and meditation. Praying is talking to God. That's how you speak. Meditation now is how you listen. Open up yourself to listen. Not only listen to God, listen to self, and then listen to your body. How are you feeling in your heart? How are you feeling in your solar plex? How are you feeling in your root chakra, in your crown chakra, in your third eye? You know, moving that energy through your body and having that communication with self.
That is key, because, and I'm so glad that you said in that that prayer is talking to God, meditation is listening to Him. And so if you constantly go and you're just praying and you're just praying and you're just praying and you pray and then you're gone and then you move on and you don't take the time to sit there and meditate after you pray and listen to what God's trying to God is always trying to tell us so many things that He's been trying to tell us, or that He has told us, but because we don't take the time to sit and to meditate so that we can hear Him after we have prayed, after you have read your scriptures, after you have said your affirmations and affirmed who you are in Him and who you are within yourself, then sit and listen for that confirmation from Him, for that guidance from Him, for those tools and tips of wisdom that He is going to plant in you. You got to take time, to do that. And I watched a video. I think it was sometime last week. I think it was by Miles Monroe, and he was talking about like fasting. And we were talking about, earlier that I'm getting ready to do a spiritual fast, a liquid fast. And he was just, talking about the breakdown of when, when you decide to do a fast like that. And so you remember, how our bodies are always craving different things, but sometimes, so you ever, start your fast and you say, okay, I'm doing this liquid fast, or, we're going to do the Daniel fast, or we're doing this, we're going to give up sugar, saying for 21 days or for a whole week, and then day one comes and then day two comes and you're just like, your body's like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? I need that. Why did you stop not, giving me that, type of thing? And so, sometimes immediately you're just like, oh, I don't know if I can do this, what I'm saying? Because you don't like the feeling that your body is getting because you're depriving it of something, what I'm saying? Because you're taking something away, or you're choosing not to put, sugar in it, you know what I'm saying? Or if you're saying, okay, I'm not doing carbs, and you're choosing not to put French fries in it, Marlon and Beverly, and we're choosing not to put rice in it, and your body is just like, okay, I need my comfort I need my comfort food, and those type of things. And so when you start deleting those things, or saying, okay, I'm going to take a break from this, your body is just like, no, 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 no. And so then your mind starts making you think that you can't do this, but you can, because we already know that change is difficult and it's hard. And sometimes it hurts, when you
All
make
the time.
Exactly. All the time it hurts. When you make a decision to do something different in your life, when you make a decision to eat differently, when you make a decision to even worship differently, sometimes people do not like the feeling of being vulnerable in the presence of God. They don't like being humbled at all. They don't like crying, even if you're crying by yourself. They don't like seeing themselves sad, so if they don't like seeing themselves sad, then they're not going to like people around them seeing them sad. So it is so hard for people to accept some things about themselves, and people don't like to deal with pain at all. We don't like to deal with the pain of change, whether it's spiritually, whether it's emotionally, whether it's physically. We don't like to deal with that stuff. And we got to realize that in order for us to heal, in order for us to be restored and to be renewed, you got to be able to embrace that hurt or that pain that's going to come from you deciding, I'm going on a liquid fast, or you deciding that you're not going to eat those French fries, you're not going to eat that rice, or you're going to cleanse your body with fruits and vegetables. It's going to hurt. It's going to be uncomfortable. But in that place of being uncomfortable, healing comes, restoration comes. You begin to be restored and to be renewed. And then once you realize, after you get past that point, you feel so much better. It may be hard, but it's worth it. It may be hard, but it's worth it. Those of you who are out there who may have started walking. You started walking, or you started running, and your goal was to run a 5K. But the first time you ran, you couldn't even run a half a mile without getting winded. But you kept practicing, you kept doing it till you got to the point where running a mile is nothing now. Running 2 miles is nothing now. We have to start somewhere, but we can't be afraid to stop and to push yourself beyond your limit, because we limit ourselves because we're afraid what's going to happen or where we're going to be once we reach that limit. And so sometimes we think that's as far as we can go. But we could go further than that. But you don't know that, and you won't know that until you go over that limit. Until you decide, okay, you know what? I'm going to stop letting my mind keep me from doing that. A lot of things that we do and we go through is mental. It's so mental. It's like, let me tell you how mental stuff is. Okay. So time, we just lost an hour, right? Remember, everybody keep talking about, okay, we lost an hour of sleep because time went up or time went back, and all, all this kind of stuff, and, spring forward, or, all that kind of stuff. So when I decided mentally, not to think about, not to even say, okay, I lost an hour of sleep. But I decided mentally to realize that I didn't, I'm not really losing that hour. When your mind starts telling you you lost an hour of sleep, then what happens to your body? You start getting tired and you start getting sleepy, and you're trying to catch up on you're trying to catch that extra hour that you lost Saturday night into Sunday when the time changes. So when I realized it was mental, it didn't affect me. My body did not adjust to me saying I lost an hour of sleep. My body adjusted.
What happens when it's both mental and physical?
Yeah.
That is if I had not have had those conversations with self and with God, and gone into meditation and went to the ancestors, like, look, I know that my body is not functioning the way it needs to, and I need to heal myself. When I went into ketosis, my body started flipping out. I'm talking about mind fogs, cramps, literal spasms that feel like they're traveling from my calves up to the back of my legs. So now I'm mentally in distress and physically in distress. Had I not had that conversation with God, and had I not felt the covering of God over this process, I would have gave up. And so that's why it's so important to go to God with all things.
Yes.
Right? Even, yes, your diet. Yes, what you eat. God cares about that too, because this is your temple. And so what you're feeding your temple is going to affect the work that you can do for God, and even will affect the amount of days that you're on this earth to be able to show up for God. And so when that physical and mental came together and I was in pain, I knew I had to keep going because I wanted to be healthy. And it's so true what Reverend Beverly said about once you go over that hurdle, it feels so good. It feels so good getting up and not being too puffy or too swollen because I've had flour. And to be able to stretch and be into my yoga poses deeply and not to be in pain because I've consumed too many carbohydrates for my body. Everybody's body is made up of a certain way. And so I believe that the spiritual gifts that you have, the emotional balance that you need to live your authentic life, is aligned to the foods that you need to eat. And until we really start to honor our bodies in that way, in understanding that God is communicating with you. And so if God is communicating with you and your senses need to be open so that you can be in touch with God, what are those things that you need not consume? Because they're slowing down that process of God getting in touch with you. Whatever those things are, as soon as you put them in your body, God lets you know that you're not supposed to have it. For example, on Wednesday, today is Wednesday. On Monday, I was having a day. Naya came in the house with pizza from Ann Pizza. Honey, baby, listen. So I'm like, listen, I had a rough day. Listen, Ki Huto, what? I'm eating this pizza. I ate the pizza. I still felt hungry. Went back and got 2 more slices. Still felt hungry. Went back and got another 2. It's like the little square slices. Got another 2. The next morning I wake up, eyes swollen, cheeks swollen and puffy, back hurting. That's not a food that I need to have. And so when we cut out all the, I'm not sure, maybe, 9 out of 10 times, if I'm craving for certain foods that I don't need, it's something emotional tied to that, or it's something spiritual tied to that. Have conversations with self before you just give yourself something that you know you don't need. What happened at work today that made you feel like you need comfort?
Yeah.
What made you angry? Why you need hot chips or some corn chips to be crunching on? What? Yeah. Because foods are associated with emotions. When a baby is born and they're breastfed, a mother's milk is sweet, warm, nourishing. No wonder when people's feelings are hurt, they want milk, ice cream, things that are sweet, dessert, because that mirrors the essence of a mother's milk. So we're literally seeking comfort. We have to come to ourselves, just like all 30 of your friends and 60 of your family members know to call you for comfort. Sometimes you need to call yourself for comfort.
Yeah, exactly.
And be like, listen, we had a rough day today, and I get it. It was hard. That was hard, being there and dealing with all of that. But we're not going to eat that. Not tonight. Yeah. We're going to drink this water, and we're going to get on our knees and pray, and you're going to stretch out and breathe. You're going to grab these crystals, because you got to have things in place. Yeah. That's another thing. We have to have substitutes. Okay, so I can't have that. What can I have? All right, here. These are the things that you can do that'll still make you feel good.
Yes.
And we have to honor ourselves like that. Yeah. We have to honor ourselves like that. Sometimes I used to ask people at Somerset.
Hello, our Somerset family.
Hello. I used to have this thing where I would say, so how old are you today? And some people would be like, listen, my 3-year-old is here and she don't want to hear none of this. She don't want to teach nobody kids. She don't want to do nothing. Another day, a teacher will be like, oh, my 17-year-old is here and she ready to leave work at lunchtime and not come back. Okay. And so we all have these different things that are happening inside of us, different triggers. Something happened. Breathe and figure out what's going on and what's a better way that you can take care of yourself. Because what we have to understand is that when you eat a salad versus you eat an ice cream versus you eat some pizza, you're still taking care of yourself. It's just asking yourself, who are you taking care of right now? And how are you taking care of them? Are you trying to meet an emotional need with this food? Or have you spoken to someone who has sucked your soul so dry that now you need to refill yourself?
With something that is like.
So you're going to do it with something sweet, something that's not the healthiest for you, but you're dealing with that emotion at that point. Versus if you decide, you know what, I need a big bottle of lemon water and a salad today. You're taking care of your body. You're still taking care, but who are you taking care of at that time? 9 out of 10 times you're taking care of yourself today. The woman you are today. Not your inner child who you experienced 30, 40 years ago when you could control things.
They like to eat ho-hos and Doritos.
Because honey, the Twinkie, some wise potato chips, and I grew up in Brooklyn, New York, okay? So them popsicles was this big, nothing but sugar water, and it was 25 cents at the corner store, okay?
So, and that's why it's so important that we're intentional when it comes to, taking care of yourself and, doing those cleanses and taking time to detox yourself. Because if you don't, it's like all that, you're going to continue to emotionally eat. You're going to continue to do all of that stuff all the time. And, that is key. I know that I fall myself, I fall into that, trap sometimes where you eat emotionally because you're thinking about, okay, well, all right. So then you think about, because you think about, I want to challenge you to think about when you eat certain things, why are you eating it? And how are you feeling before you eat it? You know what I'm saying? What brought that craving on for that particular thing? And then start noticing those patterns with yourself and how we manage our emotions or how we deal with things and how we cope with things. And then you'll start seeing that pattern. And when you start seeing that pattern, then you can start changing it so that we can start grabbing other things to substitute what other healthy things to substitute. Let me make that very clear. Things that are healthy for us to substitute the things that are not so healthy, for us. When you're always ready to grab that or to grab those things and, take that time to pray when you realize that, okay, why am I getting ready to eat this? I'm getting ready to eat this because this is how I feel, because this happened today with this person, but when you, just like Marlon said earlier, when we really need to do is just pray. Pray at that moment, say, ask God to help you with whatever it is that you're dealing with in that moment, where you are in that moment. So, that's one of the challenge. I want to challenge you guys to do that. I want to challenge you to look at those things or pay attention to those things that you like to eat and that you enjoy binging on every now and then. So then why are you grabbing this? For what? Why? What happened today? How are you feeling before you grabbed it? And that way you'll start realizing that maybe you're an emotional eater and you didn't even know it, or maybe your emotions are, really taken over in a lot of places and in a lot of things. When we talked about earlier about when we pray, that's us talking to God. And then when we meditate, that's God speaking to us. The Holy Spirit speaks to you through your heart. That's what connects you to him and your relationship with him, so that when he's talking to you, when he's talking to your body, what I'm saying? And that when he's talking to your spirit, because when you get your spirit right and get that spirit going, then the spirit can actually, kind of help the mind out. Mental strength is different from soul strength. When we talk about, like, when I talked a couple of weeks ago about finding your inner strength, you're finding that inner strength, your inner strength that you have on the inside of you is strength of the soul. Mental strength is strength of the mind. Two totally different things. Yes, they can be connected, but they're totally different. That inner strength, that like we always say, your energy is your own medicine. That comes from in here. Mental strength is different than that soul strength, that core strength that you have, that power that we all have inside of us. So, I want to challenge you that, because I'm going to do it myself. I'm going to pay attention to when I decide that I need this particular thing to eat, and why do I need it? Saying, how am I feeling? And what happened, or where am I mentally?
That's where journaling.
Yes.
People keep food journals, and when you keep a food journal, you can jot down what you ate, the time you ate it, and then how you felt when you were eating. And not just, I was hungry, I was angry, I was frustrated, I was afraid, I was upset, I was scared, I'm happy.
Yeah.
Doing a food journal, for those people who have food allergies, who have health goals that they want to maintain, who have health issues that they want to manage. Keeping a food journal is a really good way to go. And then you can always look back and reflect and see, okay, I had this health issue that occurred. I ate that this week. I did this. I was feeling that way. Because 9 out of 10 times, even our emotions, when you're stressed out, when you're emotional, when you're upset, your immune system drops. So what health issues are coming in as a result of something that you haven't allowed your chakras to emotionally and spiritually and vibrationally balance?
Yeah. That's true. So don't wait until things get so bad and then you wait, and then that's when you go to God. No. And then you pick and choose what you want to go to God for. You should go to him for everything. For everything. Not just, when when trials and tribulation, comes up, go to him for everything. Pray and ask him for, strength to deal with whatever it is that you think that food or alcohol or drugs or weed, or ice cream can handle, or
Pizza. Right.
pizza, okay, or then French fries can do, he's all powerful and all knowing, and so we don't need to run to those things to get that gratification that we get, and then we can get that from God, but we need to realize that we need him all the time, and not just when your world turns upside down, that we need him daily.
And also to understand that God left us a bunch of healing tools.
Yes.
A bunch.
Yes.
A bunch. And we have to pick them up. The sun is a healing tool. The earth is a healing tool. Sitting in nature for 5 minutes is a healing tool.
Yeah.
Your breath is a healing tool.
Yes.
Crystals that come from the earth is a healing tool.
Yes.
We have all these tools. Sage, I don't know how many people sage, but if you work in spaces where the vibrations are heavy and frustrating and upsetting, it's important that you cleanse with sage when you come back into your space. You want to get certain auras and energies off of you, literally burn them off of you. Yes. And so we, as people, especially in a time that is so potent in pain, we have to pick up those healing tools that God created for us to utilize. Yes. It's not just one thing. It's not just prayer. It's not just a Bible. It's good friendships. It's having good people around you who will support you. It's having good people around you who aren't just looking to climb the social ladder, but if they climb and they get to a certain level, will come back and be like, here, let me show you how to get to this level. It's all of those things.
Deep breathing helps, and it increases your energy. It relieves pain. It detoxes your body. Deep breathing lowers your blood pressure. It improves your digestion, and it helps correct your posture when you properly do deep breathing. Deep breathing helps reset your nervous system, your nerves. Exactly. So just like she was saying, all these things, that he gives us, the sun, gives you vitamin D, walking and taking time to walk through a park or whatever, and to just, that helps clear your mind. That helps release stuff when you can shut everything else out, or sitting by the water or doing those things. But
yes, you
deep
just
breathing,
said water.
Yes.
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 Water is so powerful. And I think that's what we don't realize. I think we're past the time too, but the conversation is so healing that we just going to keep on healing.
I know. I'm like, but you know what? Yeah. People are still watching. So yeah.
Water is so powerful. Like, water actually carries energy.
Yes.
And so there's a scientist who did a experiment on water and spoke to the jars of water and put them in different spaces. And the ones that he spoke positive to, that's why affirmations are so powerful. We should be doing them in the morning. We should be doing them at night. I am abundant. I am blessed. I am loved. I am healthy. All of those different ones. So yes. He spoke to the water, put them in different spaces. And the ones that he spoke negatively to, when he froze them, they didn't make any icicles. The one that he spoke positively to made these big, grand icicles. And so when you go and you sit by the water, whatever you need to release and let go of, I let go of fear. I let go of stagnation. I let go of frustration. I let go of unhealthy habits. You speak that to the water, and water carry the vibrations, and it keeps on going. And so everything in nature, if we know how to just connect with it for a minute and let go of the phone, let go of the thoughts, and just be where we are. Because what is the use of all that we've been through through a whole pandemic, through the struggles of being us, through the struggles of being Black in America, if we're not going to take some time to enjoy each day that we have and truly connect with God, with nature, with ourselves, with our families, what's the use? What did we do it for? Why did we survive 2020? If now in 2021, we not take some time and connect with all that we have been so blessed to see.
Exactly. That is so true. I mean, we like, I just thought about, I have a friend of mine that blesses her water, and if she watches it, she'll know who I'm talking about. She blesses her water. So I was, and my thought was just, just a moment ago. It's like, we blessed our food before we eat it.
Bless
right?
your water.
Yeah. So then how many of you bless your water before you drink it? So that the pureness of the water will do what it's supposed to do in your body, as far as healing it, as far as replenishing it, and doing the things that and cleansing it that it needs to do, and purifying it. So start blessing your water and see if you notice a difference in you when you drink it and how you feel.
You will. You most definitely will. And in India and even in Africa, they use, in certain countries, they use clay jars. In India, they use copper jars. And I actually ordered a copper container for my water. And 2 copper cups came with it, because copper conducts energy. And so in India, they pick a flower, put it on the copper jar, and they speak positively and pray over their jar of water and bless it the night before they drink it. Then they sit it on the table with the flower and haven't been prayed over. And the next morning, this is the water by which the family consumes, in the belief that water is vibrational and it has memory. And so you want to speak positively to this that you're putting in your body, and it will now have positive effects on your body.
Okay, where you get your copper jar from? And
Amazon. I'll send you pictures.
Okay, good, because those people that are watching that know I'm addicted to Amazon. I'm going to be going on Amazon and order my copper.
Yes, they have beautiful handmade ones. That.
Okay. Yes. I remember my mom used to have this book called My Body Cries for Many Waters. And in that book talked about the so many healing benefits of water. And, my mom, and even though I told you that, I have a friend that does that, but my mom actually started, me doing that, and when I remember it, I do it, but she was one that, taught us the benefits of blessing your water, saying, and especially when you need that water to really do, what it does, saying. And I'm like, I want to even challenge you a little bit even further, not to just bless your water, but, if you're out there and you're dealing with different types of illnesses and you're on medication, and then you bless that before you take it. Because if your goal is to get off of it, then bless it so that it will start to do what it needs to do. And then so that your mind will start, and you'll start realizing that, okay, well, Lord, I'm taking it. I want you to bless it, but I also want to be off of it. I don't want my body to constantly need it to get me the healing that I need. And, and because there's some things that we probably could do without. So do those things so that, your pressures can start really coming down, and, so that you can practice, that wellness, and that, those healthy things that we need to be doing to replenish and restore and renew our bodies, because it's so important and it's so key.
And if we are attempting to renew our bodies and heal our bodies, not only will we be in communication and blessing the water that we drink, the medication that we're taking, but how about we take it a step further and bless our bodies? So if you're having high blood pressure, right? Your heart is responsible for that. So having a communication with your heart, ask your heart what's going on. Has it been broken recently? Is it missing the way life used to be? Is it feeling a lot of fear? Have a conversation with your body. I bet you, I don't know how many of our viewers know that every pain that you feel in your body has a spiritual meaning. And so if you're feeling pain in your neck and in your back, that's from feeling like you're carrying the world on your shoulders, literally. And so those emotional pains and traumas that you have now send messages to your body, and your body responds. So as you, next time you're not feeling well, go into communication with your body. It's crying out and it's trying to tell you something. A few months ago, I felt like, from the issues that were manifested in my body, I'm like, something's going on with my kidney. When I looked that up, it's not letting go of certain things. It's holding on to anger and upset. It's holding on to what you thought should have been. So in order to heal myself without, conventional medication, because, Calm Holistics is about the belief system that plants heal, but so does spirit heals and vibrations heal. So connecting with whatever it is that you're touching and you're putting in your body, and your body itself, especially if you're dealing with a health issue that you're attempting to transcend.
Good stuff. Good stuff. Definitely. Yeah. Can't think about that. Yeah. All that's connected to your heart, even your relationship with God. All those things, because that's how he speaks to you. And so and I thought about years ago, I wanted to write a book on matters of the heart. Maybe we need to write that book together. We need to write that book together, matters of the heart. Yes, we need to write that book together and go from the do it in the aspects of the physical, mental, and spiritual aspect of matters of the heart, and how our heart is connected to everything.
It's literally the middle ground between the physical world and our spiritual world.
Yeah,
like it's literally the heart, that compassion, the feeling, the senses. That's what gives us the human experience.
Yeah.
So let us feel.
True. That is so true. Yes. Well,
so
we go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say we've covered it all.
I know we have. We have gone over our time, and we're so glad that you joined us today. Next week, I know we said that we were going to do it every other week, but because we're not going to have it at the end of this month, and we only had one conversation this month, we will meet next week. We want to close out our Healing Conversation Month with talking with some women for Women's History Month, who are doing some great and some wonderful things. So be on the lookout, ladies. If you're out there, I may be calling some of you guys to talk to you guys about being a guest next week, just so just have a conversation on being being women. So. So we're gonna talk, and we're gonna have a good conversation. So join us next week with that conversation to kind of close out our Women's History Month with a conversation on women and what we are bringing to this world, to the community, to our families, and to the people around us. So we want you to join us next week. If you're out there and you're watching and you are in need of any help, at the bottom of your screen, we have it scrolling, the Mount Lebanon Virtual Health Ministry a call center number, which is 202-765-1435. If you know anybody who is in need of help or services or resources, Give them this number. Give us a call. If you yourself need some help, give us a call on that number. We're here to serve the community. We're here to provide whatever needs we can to you or your family. It does not matter where you live. If you're listening right now and you're in Atlanta, or you're in Georgia, or you're in New York or Pennsylvania or anywhere, just call that number and we will try our best to help you find resources within your community and those things are around you. So we thank you once again for joining us. Real quickly, at the bottom of our screen is our, Cash App. If you want to bless our ministries, if you want to, bless our organizations, Thrive Community Service Cash App is flowing at the bottom of your screen is Rev Bev, $Rev Bev 73. Calm Holistics Cash App is $Calm Cash at the bottom of your screen. If you want to just bless our organizations, our ministries, feel free to do so. We're going to be doing some great and wonderful things as the weather breaks in the community and as things start to open back up. We want to get out there and do some more things to help the community outside of Healing Conversations. So if you're there and you want to give to Marlon, if you want to give to Rev Bev, you can do so with that Cash App at the bottom of your screen. Always remember that your energy is your own medicine. And we thank you guys for joining us. We will see you next week. Have a great and wonderful evening. Prayer, meditation, affirmation are the keys to a well-balanced life. Have a great evening, and thank you for joining us. Good night.
Thank you.